Hi, folks. I have something to say briefly that's aimed squarely at video game designers. And that's this. When you make a crappy electronic game prototype, you can always blame the crappiness on the programming or the art or the sound or other things that are not part of the design. But when you make a crappy non-electronic game prototype, you're out there on your own. It's clearly your fault that it's crappy. Now, of course, all prototypes are fairly crappy when they start out, so don't feel bad about that. Nonetheless, it is an example of why even video game designers often try to make a paper prototype of a game before they start the programming. You expend a lot less time and effort on making the physical game prototype than you do on making a software prototype. You don't have to do the programming. Programming is complex. Programming takes quite a while, even with something like Unity. And if it all turns out to be a rather poor game, then you've wasted all that. Or worse, you press on with your poor game because you put so much time into the prototype. And even in tabletop games, we get people who, when they design a game, start out by making the prototype look really good before they've ever played the game. What a waste of time, because even very experienced designers are often going to make a prototype and play it and then set it aside at some point because it's not good enough. But when you put lots of time into making at least one and possibly several very good looking prototypes, you're much more likely to continue with that prototype even though it should be abandoned. So there are two virtues here, as long as you avoid the two traps of making a software prototype first or making a really good tabletop prototype first. Make something that's cheap but playable, play it, see what happens, see if then you want to still put more effort into making the more complex version. And by the way, I'll say a last thing. Um, I don't know how true it is now, but it was in the past true that publishers were suspected very good looking prototypes of possibly not being very good games because of this very problem that I've been talking about. Now, as time passes, it's easier to make good looking prototypes. And as time passes, you get younger and younger people coming into publishing who are more visually oriented than old folks like me. And so that may not be as much a publisher attitude as it used to be. I don't know. Thanks for listening.